It's time to go beyond the headlines, cause I don't put in overtime just so I can headline. Okay, now it's Fox Sports, I'm live with Renee. Going hard every day, sports rapping every play. Different segments for your favorites, coming at you daily with positive vibes, yeah, we some game changers. Basketball, football, soccer, with different interviews, you never know who may pop up. Listen, only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington, everyone. Joining me, we've got quite a guest now. This is Leonard Wheeler, the former NFL safety and author, and he's currently working with NFL legends. He's a motivational speaker. He's doing it all. Leonard, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Renee, for having me. I really appreciate being here.
No problem. Anytime. Thank you for joining us on the show. So let's go back. Let's start back when you were drafted in 92. You get drafted to the Bengals. You're making that adjustment. You're a rookie in the NFL. You've made it to the highest level of football. Talk to us about that transition and the adjustment from playing college football into playing in the NFL.
Well, it was a childhood dream. I told my mom when I was 8 years old that I was going to play in the NFL. But you know how all great parents are. They pat you on the head and say, I can't wait to see you there, baby. I really believe that the 1992 draft for defensive backs, Renee, was really the best defensive back draft in the history of the NFL. Seriously. I know I might be speaking a little biased. I might be a little biased, but we had so many guys that played for 8 years or more that it continues to blow my mind. It really does. So my experience of getting drafted was, like I said, a childhood dream that I was able to live out on a high level.
Yeah. Well, I will say 92 was a great year because that was the year I was born, not to make you feel old.
There you go. Can I say anything else? Must I say anything else outside of that? It solidifies
it's a great
exactly
time
what
to be alive.
Yes. It was the best year. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Okay, I can see that. Now, the physicality, the adjustment of the speed of the game from one to the next, I mean, did you really see that a lot as a rookie and in your first years?
I did see it a lot. I saw the physicality as a lot. I also saw understanding the capability and the adaptability to understanding and learning the plays. And then really putting into practice those study habits, the habits that you created in the classroom, literally came to life when it came to learning game plans the week before you play a team.
Right.
Because every week we had to add to the playbook. And so there were a lot of great habits that really gave you the advantage, and there were a lot of bad habits that literally hindered you a lot as well.
It's funny that, not funny, but it's interesting to me that you say that because I feel like whenever people talk about, this rookie's coming in, are they going to be able to play in the league, regardless of sport, something that is always discussed is the physicality and the speed of play, whether it's going from college basketball to the NBA or college football to the NFL. Everyone always talks about more the physical side of things, but you're talking about the mental side of things, being able to quickly, here we are, we have a week to learn a game plan. We got to prep for Tom Brady and the Patriots, and you got to figure it out and be ready to go by Sunday. That's something I've never, ever actually heard of something that's tough to do coming from college to the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Because, see, physically, we all have the physical ability to be able to play the game. The mental capacity to sustain the game is totally different. Because now what I have to do is this. I have to say, okay, everybody's just as fast as I am. They might be just as quick as I am. But can I outthink them? And can I be emotionally stable in the midst of certain conditions more than they can? And so you always have to find something that can separate you from the person that you're competing against.
I like that. So that IQ, that mentality. I mean, you've been talking about how so many guys that were drafted when you were, you drafted in 92, had such a strong career. Maybe it was just that your class was a smarter class, too. You guys had the mental capacity to be able to stay in the game and understand the game so that each game you could prep and be ready for it to the best of your ability. So maybe it was a smart year as well as a talented year.
I always listen to this speaker named Les Miles, and Les Miles said, you got to be hungry. And one of the reasons I love when he says you have to be hungry is that not only that you have to be hungry to play the game, you have to be hungry to continue to sustain the game.
Ooh, okay. I like that. So then do you have, in the course of your career, do you have now, I know you don't have favorites, so I'm going to ask because I'm curious. Was there like a franchise specifically that you really felt most at home, like you could really grow and be yourself? So maybe it wasn't a favorite in the sense that, I love it here, but maybe it's more like this is a spot that just gets me and allows me to be the best Leonard Wheeler that I can be.
That is a great question because I can answer that question. I can answer that question like this. I'm grateful to have been drafted to the Bengals because they gave me my first opportunity, okay?
Right.
But when I went to the Minnesota Vikings and I played for Denny Green and I had people like Chris Carter and John Randall on the team and Randall McDaniel and Jake Reed, and I had all of these guys. I met some of my best friends like Greg Briggs. Right. Even though I had some of my best friends on the Cincinnati Bengals, the entire team and the organization, they possessed something a little different at that time, and that was a winning attitude. And I grew as a man. I grew as a father. I grew more as a football player, and really I grew more spiritually than I've ever grown in my life when I was in Minnesota. Yeah. Wow. So it was really
that makes sense.
It was really a turning point for me, Renee, in so many different aspects. Truly.
Right. And I feel like we all have that moment, that job, that team, that school, whatever it may be, where you really find yourself like coming to figure out your purpose in life and mature the most in that environment.
Yep.
And that was the Vikings.
That was the Vikings. And then after that I went to the Panthers where I continued to grow. But the Vikings, I think, even though I gave my life to the Lord in 94 in Cincinnati, I feel like I grew more in the Lord when I went to the Minnesota Vikings I met people like Reggie Rice and Keith Johnson.
Right.
Even though in Cincinnati, Jeff Patton led me to the Lord, when I came to the Vikings, I came to the Panthers after the Vikings, I continued to grow with people like Mike Bunkley and Mike Bucker, those young guys. Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Wow, that is incredible. Do you have a moment in all in your years in the NFL that you really felt like, that 8-year-old boy that you were that said to your mom that I'm going to play in the NFL one day, that was kind of like a moment of realization for you where it was like, this is why I love the game?
So when I was 8 years old, I told my mom, she was crying one day, and she had experienced some domestic violence with my dad.
Sorry to hear that.
And I told her, I said, Mom, one day I'm going to buy you a house, and I'm going to play in the NFL, and you're not going to cry anymore. Well, that moment became real when I was able to buy her house in 1995. She had never owned a home, and I bought her, and I was able to do that, and I was able to complete that wish and that dream from that 8-year-old kid.
That is so special and so grounded. I have to just say I'm happy for your mom to get through that and that you were able to give her something that I'm sure she is forever thankful for.
Oh, my gosh. She's still in that home right now.
She probably was on cloud nine. It's one thing that you even made it to the NFL, which is an incredible accomplishment in itself. But to have her baby do something for her that's so, selfless and caring, that is a moment that probably had you both kind of just crying and just in the moment in disbelief.
It was really a great day when she was able to move into that home that was built for her, and she was able to move in for the first time. It was pretty special.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, hats off to you for being a great son and doing that for your mom.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you still continue to work with the NFL, just in a different role. You're no longer on
Yes.
the field. You're now off the field working with former teams
Right.
and the league, working with NFL legends. Now, for those that do not know, what is NFL Legends all about?
So this is what I love about what I do for a living. I was, over 6 years ago, the commissioner, Tracy Perlman and Troy Vincent, they came up with this name called the Legends because they said, you know what, you guys are legends. Maybe we're not legends in the NFL, maybe some of us, but we're legends in our hometowns. We're legends in our college towns.
Right.
And we're legends to our nephews, to our nieces, to our kids. And so they came up, so the commissioner came up with the name Legends. And so we established the Legends about 6 years ago. And right now, Renee, we have over 9,000 players, 9,300 players that are registered as legends in the community already. Now, to put that in perspective, so let me just put that in perspective, okay? We are celebrating our 100th year this year. And we've only had over 20,000 players playing the NFL over 100 years. But let me give you another stat. We've only had over 13,000 play 2 years or more over 100 years of the NFL being in existence.
Ooh, I didn't realize that.
So it's really awesome. And what we want to do is we want to know that these players are going to be celebrated. We want to connect them back to their teams, back to their hometowns, back to the NFL, and we want to continue to embrace them and know that they have an entire body that is willing to serve and be there for them and their families to help them in this time of transition.
So that's where your work as a transitions coach comes into play. It's that transition from being a player to now being, what's next? How do you continue on as, a father, a husband, whether it's coaching your kids, whatever it may be? What do you kind of provide as a transitions coach then? Is it more mental and supportive, or is it more like literally coaching them through, or just maybe a variety depending on what each person needs?
Well, transition coaching is another component that is up under the Legends community now. And the transition coaching comes in like this. If we want people to understand, we want these guys and their families to understand you have transferable skills, right? So you didn't just go to school to learn how to play the game. You went to school to learn how to survive in life, to become a professional, if it's mathematics, if it's economics, if it's English, whatever that is for you. I went back and I have 2 degrees, right? And what we want these players to know, and what we want people to know is this. These players are freaking amazingly smart. I mean, there's not a lot that we haven't been able to accomplish in our lives that we put everything into. And so what we want them to do is to say this. Look, you have transferable skills. Everything that you put your mind to, it has come to pass. And if it didn't, it wasn't meant to be at that moment. But what we teach guys to do is how to transition and how to do it from an emotional perspective, not just something physical that we've been used to doing. So we help them create a game plan for their life.
Wow. And do you guys have events and different things like that you offer as well?
Oh, man, we have Legends Lounges that we have throughout the country. At the Super Bowls, we have different events. We have a Bridge to Success event that these players can sign up for free, and it would literally teach them and their spouses or significant others how to transition. Bridge to Success, they can go on our portal, and they can literally find every piece of information, Renee, about the NFLPA, about the trust, about the Gridiron Greats, about everything that the Legends have, all the benefits, etc. There's literally a plethora of information that we provide for these guys to make sure that they continue to be fulfilled.
So the only way I can get in is if I play in the NFL, or I have to marry someone to get in. Darn it. Okay, just making sure. Just kind of seeing. It sounds awesome. I feel like you guys probably have some really deep conversations and are able to just laugh and talk about, experiences, memories, whatever. Just shoot the breeze. It probably is like there are probably some great personalities in the room. But you know what? It's remarkable to see. I can only imagine. I'm not there, so I can't. I'm gonna have to imagine what it's like to be an NFL legend. But I just cannot get over the fact that it's only been a few years and it's grown as much as it has. To now have, I mean, you look at the numbers. That's that's over half of the amount of guys that played 2 years or more, and over half the guys in general.
We want all 20,000 living players to be in the Legends community. We want these players and their spouses, their significant others, kids to know that we really want to celebrate them. We want to embrace them. We want to serve. And really, that's the reason we started the community, is that we said, how can we continue to serve our brotherhood better than we have before? And I think creating the Legends community has established that, and we continue to work towards it. We have people on every team that has bought in. So every team literally carries the Legends logo that represents their team. So it's pretty significantly awesome, man, because it continues to fire us up every time we're a part of it.
Wow. That's definitely awesome. Is a great way to put it. I don't think many words can describe that feeling and that connection you guys must have, educating, celebrating, honoring all the accomplished, and just being able to be in the room with like-minded individuals that get it, you know. But you also have written books. You're not done. They're doing a lot. I love it. So talk to us about Beyond the Locker Room, and even if you have another book that you're potentially planning in the future, maybe you can let us know about that too.
So I have 2 books out now. So I have Beyond the Locker Room that I launched over 3 years ago at the Super Bowl. And I have another book that I just launched about 6 months ago, Desire, Discipline, Determination, that I co-wrote.
Congrats.
I have 5 more books that I want to write. Beyond the Locker Room was inspiring because I wanted to talk about creating a game plan for transition, creating a game plan for life, not just from the NFL perspective, but from life, right? You have a mom that now wants to go back to work after her kids have been raised. You have people between jobs. You have somebody that's going from college into their profession. I wanted to really create and help people create a game plan for transition. And that's where Beyond the Locker Room was derived from. It's from my own transition into real life.
Okay. Very nice. So 5 more books on the way.
Yes, 5 more books on the way, and I'm excited about it too. Yes, I'm excited.
So when can we expect those? I mean, you just had your recent book that just was released 6 months ago. So what's the turnaround time for book number 3?
Oh, gosh, Renee, you don't play around, do you? I mean,
I need all the information.
I didn't know this was going to be an accountability call. Goodness gracious. Let me see. No,
you're inspiring me because I want to write books too, and I'm like, wow, if you're doing all this. 3 years ago, you dropped your first book. You're like an artist here, the way you're dropping books so fast. Then you dropped another one 6 months ago, and now you're working to release 5 more in the future. I got to play catch up. I'm very behind.
So we will make a deal at the same time. Why don't over the next 3 months, you and I agree to have at least 6 chapters in our book on an outline. Not written, but we'll have an outline, the name of the book, and we'll have 6 chapters on the outline. Okay.
Well, my one book series is a children's book series, so I can do that.
Okay, that's perfect.
It might be like 10 pages total, and I'll have 6 done.
We are in alignment. We are in alignment right there. You don't have to have the whole chapter done. We'll just have 6 chapters, the names of them on an outline that we will present in less than 3 months from there.
3 months. It's August. Okay, starting August, what's today? It'll be the 21st when it's aired. Okay, I can do that.
Yep. Okay, is that a deal?
Deal. I'm digitally shaking your hand.
Okay, everybody heard it here. Everybody heard it here. Renee has put herself out there.
I'm a woman of my word, so I have to do this. Oh, goodness.
In less than
All right, I can do
months.
that.
Game is on.
Game on. Game on. All right. So before we wrap things up, it's not every day we have a professional athlete, former or current, on the show. So I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit, put you in the hot seat.
Okay.
And just ask you some quick questions. Just give me your first thoughts.
All right.
So,
I'm ready.
Who is the best cook that you've ever played with? I'm sure at some point you guys sat down, somebody whipped up a meal. Who's the best cook in all your, it could be someone you met in the NFL Legends that you didn't play with directly. Someone that you know to be the best chef, can really put it down in the kitchen.
Me.
What? What? Are you being cocky or is this real? What's
I'm just saying I can really cook. I'm just saying I can really cook. I can cook, for real. I'm really not kidding.
Wow. All right. What's your go-to dish?
Oh, my God. I don't really have one. I can cook greens. I can cook turnip greens, collard greens. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I can cook it all. I can cook and everything that I cook that I cook with turkey. So I don't eat pork and I don't eat shellfish.
Gotcha. So it's okay. That makes sense.
But I have to say that
it's lunchtime, so
there are a lot of guys that I've met that can grill really good though.
Ooh, some grill masters. You guys should have a barbecue pit-off.
We should have a pit-off. Yes.
You
know what? You should have to cover it. Okay, we're going to have a cook-off.
I came up with the idea, so I should be there.
That is a true statement.
Taste all the food. Oh,
we should have a cook-off, and you are going to cover it.
All jokes aside, I am 100% serious right now. I will be there.
I am 100%.
I will judge. I will gladly sample all the food. I might not eat all of it, but I'll gladly taste everybody's food.
I am 100% serious. You should cover it.
Let's make this happen.
And we should have a cook-off.
Deal. I'm writing that down too. Right under get my 6 chapters in by 3 months.
You know what? Maybe we could do that at the Super Bowl.
Now you're talking my language. And I did want to go to the Super Bowl this year.
I'm just putting it out there.
I was trying to go.
I'm just putting it out there.
Win-win. Just chew on it.
Just chew on it.
As long as NFL Legends cover my flight.
Just chew on it.
Hard out here. All right. Next question. Who was the most inspirational player that you played with? You named a lot of guys that really helped you find yourself and helped you mature, especially with the Vikings. Who's the most inspirational player that you could always look to, whether it was directly they were saying something to you or just the way they carried themselves? They were an inspiration.
Probably the first person that I met in the NFL that was inspirational to me was Anthony Munoz. Anthony Munoz is probably the best offensive lineman to ever play the game, and he was just a humbled man. He was very humble. And just the way he carried himself in a way to where he loved people, and he had so much grace and so much mercy for people to where, I don't know, man, his character, his integrity was always just inspirational. And I would say John Randall for the Vikings was very inspirational to me because John was aggressive on the field, but off the field, he was like a gentle giant. So John works with us right now. He works with the Legends community as one of our directors in Minnesota in that region, and he's probably, and then Reggie White. I didn't get to play with Reggie, but Reggie was one of my great friends before he passed. And to find somebody that just loved the Lord the way he did, alone, just like Anthony loved the Lord too, but to find people that loved the Lord the way these men did was amazing to me. Very inspirational.
Wow. Yeah, that's great to see. So then who was the hardest working player that you saw over the years?
That I played with or that I just saw?
Either one, actually.
You heard of so many people's work ethics, and
Right.
And I think all of us really desire to work as hard as people like Jerry Rice, because he worked so diligently, and he finished plays and practice all the time as if he was in the game. And they always say that you play the way you practice. And if you look at the way he played the game on such a high level that it exemplified what he put forth every day in practice. And so, playing with people like Chris Carter and John Randall again, John practiced just as hard as he played in the game. And so, I was just blessed to be able to be around some amazing men that I was able to look at, and it didn't allow me to vacillate back and forth as to how professional I needed to be, but it held me accountable to work continually hard every day.
Right. Jerry Rice. I have heard he was one of the hardest working players in everything.
He's one of the hardest working players.
Wow.
For sure.
So, is there a guy that you hated to play, whether it was he was on your team and you hate to go up against him in practice, or on another team, and every time, and you guys could be friends too. You know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
You just know each other's moves. You know what you're going to do. Is there a guy that stands out for you that you were just like, oh, there's Leonard Wheeler again?
Well, I was in Minnesota with Chris Carter and those guys, and let me tell you, we had to work hard in practice against Chris Carter and Jake Reed and those guys, man. That's why we won there, because our competitive natures were to win in practice and to win against each other. And knowing that if we won against each other, we were going to become better players once Sunday came. And so really practicing against those guys every day really helped me become a better corner than I was before I got there, truly. And then, being drafted with people like Carl Pickens and Darnay Scott and those guys when I was young, I mean, it was really a lot of work to be able to keep up with those guys, because they ended up being amazing Pro Bowlers. And so I was really blessed, Renee, to play against and practice against some great athletes.
Wow. Yeah.
And I also played against Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens. So
I'm sure those we're not really looking forward to that.
Right. And so it was some great players out there, really.
Yeah. Do you have a game that stands out in your mind from over the years that was like, just regardless of whether you won or lost, you just walked off that field like that was fun? I mean, of course, winning's more fun than losing. But, sometimes you lose a close game, and it's just like was such an exciting game that even though you're mad you lost, you still enjoyed it.
You have some great questions, Renee, man. I tell you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So my dad, my biological father, came to one of my first games, and it was Minnesota Vikings against Chicago Bears, and I literally had the game of my life. Like, I could not do wrong in this game. And I left off the field going, that was a great game.
Yeah.
It was just one of those feelings that you just felt like you were just floating. And you were just in the zone the entire game.
That's exactly it. That's the feeling.
Yeah, you just felt like you were in the zone the entire game. But yeah, great question.
Wow. I'm sure that must have been great to even have him in the stands, too.
It was great to have him in the stands.
See family in the stands.
Yep.
And that's Dad.
Yeah, I mean, it's Dad, but, you always want to play for Mom, because my mom, when she was sitting in the stands, she would never leave the game. Like, if she had to go to the bathroom, she's not going to leave if I'm on the field.
Oh. That's Mom
she would
for you,
not
though.
leave. That's Mom for you right there, man.
She wants to see every single second, everything you do, and then we'll tell you about it after.
She wants to be able to tell you about it.
What happened? Like.
And look, I was the same way when I went to see my daughter. My daughter runs track at Georgia Tech, and she just finished running her 4th year at Georgia Tech, and I didn't want to miss anything ever.
Oh, as you should. That's your baby out there.
That's my baby, for sure.
Oh. Wow, Leonard. Well, thank you so much for sharing, some stories, information on NFL legends, on your books. We're working 3 months and our pit off. There's definitely a name
for that. Off.
Is that the name?
It's a pit off. It's a pit off.
Okay. I thought, I watch Food Network every once in a while, and I do watch the barbecue grill masters do their thing, and I could have sworn it was a pit off. But yes, the pit off for the Super Bowl weekend that I will be at, regardless how I have to get there, I'll be there with an empty stomach, ready to eat. Give me some napkins. I'm ready to go in. Put me in, Coach.
Hey, I wanted to make sure that I gave the guys a portal for them to sign up for the Legends community.
Absolutely.
It is players, PLAYERS, .NFL.com, to where they can sign up. Current players can sign up in the portal, and former players can sign up in the portal as well. And they can learn about all of the benefits, Renee, that's available to them. So players.nfl.com.
Awesome. Well, if any players are listening, thank you for listening, because I appreciate you. Well, thank you so much, Leonard Wheeler. Where can we follow you on social media? What are your handles and your website?
You can follow me on Instagram at Leonard Wheeler 7, on Twitter at Leonard Wheeler 7, and Facebook Leonard Wheeler. And my website is leonardwheeler.com.
And I have to ask, I'm glad you actually, when you were saying your handles, just reminded me of this. Your number was 37, but your social media is 7. Is 7 just your favorite number, and you picked 37 because you had to?
3 and 7 follow me all my life. And so
3 is my favorite number.
See, Renee, look at that. 92.
We're like twins.
Number 3. Must we continue to have all of these things aligned? And so 7 is the number of completion. And so,
okay.
Yep, 7 is the number of completion. So I love the numbers 3 and the number 7. Love them.
Wow.
And then 3 is the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. But we'll get into that next time.
Right. There's a lot of reasons. Yeah, we can. Yeah. Hey, I love that too. So. Oh, well, it has been a blast and a pleasure to have you on the show this week, Leonard. Thank you so much for just sharing stories and taking time out of your day to join us on Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you so much for having me. Keep doing what you're doing. We're so proud of you, and we look forward to next time.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.